Hey everyone, thank you for tuning back into my YouTube channel. Today I want to go over the spinning rod that's kind of my utilitarian, kind of Swiss Army knife, if you will. The spinning rod that I could use for a wide variety of applications. Seems like you could have so many different types. I mean, when I go up north for smallmouth bass fishing, I want something that's like 7.4 to 7.6. I like a longer length because you're going to be throwing lighter lures, smaller lures on light line a long distance. So that longer rod helps you present those lures out there on a long cast and on a specific spot where you think a fish might be. So longer spinning rods might be great in that application. And then there's all different types of lengths with 7.2, 7.4, 7.6, 7 foot, and then some people might even like a 6.6, 6.8, 6.10. And so there's different actions as well. The majority of anglers use a medium action, especially with today's braided lines, but I've had some medium heavies. Depending upon who makes it, there's different actions and different lengths that could come into play. But I want to share with you the one spinning rod that I feel like can do a wide variety of things, kind of a multi-purpose spinning rod that I've really felt like has been just clutch for me in a lot of different instances. And that's a Finesse M1. That Finesse M1 spinning rod right there. And it's a 7'2" medium action. 7'2" medium action. It's 1/8 to 3/4 ounce weight sizes, and then 6 to 12 pound test. It might look strange because it doesn't have a handle back here, and at first I was kind of like, man, I don't know if I'll like that. Love it. Works out really well. Fits under my arm. It's just super well balanced. And I like to use this for, obviously I got a drop shot rigged up here. You can see my drop shot weight, but I would also use it for wacky rigging or Nico rigging, which is basically a wacky rig with a weight inside the worm. A lot of your finesse type applications, if you're going to use a jig head minnow for like forward facing sonar, this works for that as well. And you might use a little swim bait on a jig head, 1/8 ounce, 3/16 quarter. This works for that as well. I like the 7.2 because it kind of gives me the best of both worlds. It enables me to have a little bit extra length so I can lean on that fish, but also it enables me to have the pinpoint accuracy. The longer the rod you have, seems like the harder it is to make those specific casts. Like if you see a stump in the water, different things like that. Longer rods are generally more difficult for a lot of anglers to make pinpoint presentations. So I like a 7.2 because it kind of gives me some length, but also scales it back where I can have that pinpoint accuracy. And then also I can kind of feather it with my finger so that it lands in the water in a really nice and natural manner, so you don't spook fish in clear water or in shallow situations. When it comes to reels for this, I really like the Bass Pro Shops Johnny Morris Signature Series reel, and this reel is a 6.0 gear ratio. Spin it around here onto this side for you. It's very smooth. I've been using these reels all year, and they just seem just as smooth as when I pulled them out of the box. Complete hassle-free use. Really impressed with these reels. I think they're like $149.99 for these reels. I'm not exactly sure what the price is on the Finesse M1 7.2. You know, it's not one of those super expensive ones, and it's not one of your lower end. It's kind of a great middle road rod and reel combination that really is just the workhorse for me. Like I said, whether it's a drop shot, wacky rig, Nico rig, swim bait, jig head, or even a minnow on a jig head, it just works really well for a lot of different applications. And when it comes to trying to simplify your fishing, I feel like it's so key to find a couple of rods that do a lot of things well. They kind of find that middle ground as far as the number of applications, and you still have a high hook to land ratio. So this rod and reel combination has been just excellent for me. I think I've got probably 12 pound test braided line on here, and then I'll probably go to 8 or 10 pound test gamma fluorocarbon, and I'll junction it with an FG knot. In any one of those applications, it'll be the same line weight for all those, whether it's the jig head swim bait, jig head minnow, drop shot, wacky rig, Nico rig, so on and so forth. The thing that I would use maybe a little bit heavier, a little bit longer rod is for like a shaky head. Shaky head has a little bit heavier hook, and then on top of the little bit heavier hook, you've got the jig head. The fish can bite down on it. Sometimes you're using a thicker bodied bait, so you want to set the hook through that bait and get that hook penetrated through the roof of the fish's mouth. In those applications, I might bump up to like a medium heavy and a 7'4", because with a shaky head, you're not so completely concerned about accurate presentations. You're usually fishing a rock pile, a hump, a point, or a riprap bank. You might come into a scenario where you're going to need that pinpoint accuracy, but you don't want to give up the fact that you need that leverage to set the hook through that plastic, get that hook penetrated through the fish's mouth, and bring him to the boat. And when it comes to a shaky head, that's something where I really feel like you need that extra weight, either in the rod blank, so with more like a medium heavy, or like a 7'4" length rod to kind of, you know, really put a lot of heat on those fish. But this is it, the Finesse M1 spinning rod, 7.2 medium action, 1/8 ounce to 3/8 ounce, 6 to 12 pound test line, and it's been really the rod that I've used for a lot of finesse applications throughout the 2024 season, and really like this rod. Grown super fond of it. There's a lot of other pro anglers that really enjoy fishing this rod in a lot of the same scenarios that I do. Thank you for tuning into the YouTube channel. Hope you got something out of that. Try to simplify your rod and reel selection. It helps to make you more efficient. The only downside to having fewer rods is you've got to cut and retie more often, but it also helps you with when you're working on tackle, prep and tackle and different things like that, to have a fewer number of rods and that do a wider variety of things. Thank you for watching, and until next time, good fishing.